Hello, everybody. Hello, ladies and gentle ladies. I thought I pressed unmute. Apparently, I didn't. I don't know how that happened. Welcome to another Industria development stream. Yeah, we are going to be working on updating again today. Now, I think we are actually done in terms of it compiles. However, we will need to like run the game and see what happens from there. So yeah, between streams I've just gone through and I've fixed a bunch of the errors. Actually, it looks like we still have some here. Good job I noticed that before we tried to run the game. So yeah, this is actually, I believe, the final errors, but we should be able to see that from the build outputs. See what it says and just make sure these are going to be the final errors. Yeah, so those are just overrides or deprecated. These are actually new. What is this? It's deprecated. Replace transitive access wideners in fabric transitive access wideners. Use entity renderer factories.register. Interesting. Entity renderer factories.register. Oh, okay. That's not too bad. Hello Lone Wolf, welcome to the stream. Hello Wide, welcome to the stream. Hello Rat, welcome to the stream. And hello Xan C, welcome to the stream. Yeah, so we just need to fix this, basically. This is it. This is the last thing. And this is actually the one I don't know how to fix, funnily enough. Now, I think we can just use World X. Maybe? But, like, I'm not sure because I don't really know what this code did. I wrote this code ages ago, like really long time ago, probably about a year ago now. So I don't honestly recall what this did. I assume that this would divide the... I don't know. Actually, I genuinely don't know. I think it divided the position of the vertices divide by 16, right? That makes sense. I'm just not entirely sure, like, how it did that. Like, I don't really know what this is doing. I don't know what this div method does. I think I'm most confused on what this div method does. One second, I just need to check that something is going to be fine for this stream. I think that's fine. 1 second, I do need to do one quick thing. Let's do that. Let's do that. Do that. I'm just closing some things so that my PC doesn't, you know, just completely die. Because I have a lot of things running in the background right now, and a lot of them can be closed. There's no point closing that, because that will just come back anyways. Okay, yeah, I think that's all the things I wanted to close. Actually, let me do this as well. Save some resources for myself is what I'm trying to do. Oh, Windows is dying. It didn't... okay, I may have just pressed stop streaming. Okay, it didn't register me pressing stop streaming. We're fine. All is good. Okay. It's fine. All is good. We're still streaming, I believe. Hello, Basti. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, we need to figure out what the hell this code does. I think what we need to do is we need to now use setter methods. Would that be correct? So if we look in here, I think because this is now an array, right? Okay, what is V0? That might help me. I probably should have looked at that. Okay, I see. I see. I'm understanding now. Okay, so in that case, what we need to do is make this a variable, which is the vertices. And then basically just set it. So that's not going to work, but what we can do, that will kind of be correct. So we can do that, and then do dot world x, and then basically just go ahead and do that for all the other ones. So world y, and then this one will use the first index, second index, third index, and I think that's it. Because world x does that divide by 16 for us. So I think that's actually all we need to do. I don't think there's anything too complicated there. Okay, I'm trying to have a better posture whilst I'm streaming. Just because I don't know if maybe that's why I've been having problems recently. But I think I'm trying to get a better posture. I think this is fine. Okay. Yeah, so that's it, I believe. Let's try run it and see what happens. That's the plan. Hopefully it just works. And then once this works, we're going to update to 1.21.11. That should be very minor. That should be almost trivial to do. But I just wanted to do this first just to make sure that all is good. And then after we've done that, then we'll migrate to the Moj mappings, which shouldn't be too tricky either. And then I'm considering after that possibly updating to a snapshot version, but consider that in a minute. Okay, we do have an error, but it's actually just an issue with one of the runtime mods I have, which is auto reauth. So I just need to go ahead and download that mod again. Auto reauth, and hopefully is updated to 1.21.11. Hopefully. If I go versions, oh, it's not. It's on 1.21.9 though, and it's probably compatible. So we're going to try that. What are we doing? We're updating today, Basti. We're updating to the latest versions for everything, hopefully. That's the plan. So let me quickly go ahead and download the latest version of this mod. I actually don't need it, but the only reason I have it is because it allows me to have my skin in the game. So it's like, you know, very minor thing, but it's just nice to have, really. So if I go run and go mods. Okay, yeah, I also have a zoom mod in here as well. Let's actually open that in Explorer like that. Okay, let's. Oh yeah, I can't really show this on stream because Windows Explorer doesn't let me hide certain things. Okay, that's fine. I will just have to do this part off stream, but all I'm doing is just downloading some mods, which I'm also downloading a zoom mod just so I can zoom into things, because that's always nice to do. This one actually is available for 1.21.11, so you don't need a mod to have your username skin. That's true, you don't need to, but it is just easier to, so you know, I would rather just do that. Okay, I've got the two mods we should need, so if we go ahead and run it again, it should work. Now, I suspect, even though that everything compiles, I suspect not everything is going to work. The chances are some things are going to have broken. It actually looks like this mod, it genuinely just doesn't work on 1.21.10. So that's actually quite a shame. I will have to remove that mod then. But we can keep the zoom mod. I think that will be fine. And I think there's another auth mod. See if I can find it. Yeah, but it's not updated either. Okay. DevAuth, that's the other one. Thank you, 7410. Is this one updated though? I'm not sure if this one's updated either. It actually does look like it is. Interestingly, it's not on. Oh no, they just have releases, but they're not like I see. Okay. Yeah, so that's 1.21.11 plus. I don't know if that will work on 1.21.10 or not. Actually, I don't really care enough to do that right now. Let's just ignore that. It's not too important. I'm a little concerned already what's happening here. Why are things not... Why are we stuck? That's suspicious. Let's have a look if there's any errors in here. Free resource reloading. So it's just missing block models. Doesn't seem to be any. So I don't know why it wouldn't be loading. One thing actually we do need to do, and I have somehow just completely forgot about this. We do need to update some things in here, right? Or do we? Do we? Technically no. Actually, we technically don't. These are all kind of correct. The fabric loader one isn't correct, but that shouldn't stop us from loading in by any means. The fabric loader should be on 0.17.2 though. But as I say, that's obviously not the problem. This, I think that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I think that's fine. Let me just check what we're currently on. Yeah, so that's 1.1.0, and in here... Oh, no, that's actually wrong. That does need to be that. Yeah, I don't know why this isn't working, though. I'm a little bit confused. We're not getting any errors. I think that's the latest version, no? Is it not? 0.18.3. Oh. Will that work though? I guess we could try it, sure. Okay, sure. So we'll do 0.18.3 and then let's go into build.gradle, gradle.properties, 0.18.3. Okay. That shouldn't obviously actually like change anything. I am actually going to remove the zoom mod just in case that's causing issues. I don't think it should be, but just in case. You never know. Okay, so give that a second to do its thing. Let's also reload. Okay, then let's run it again and see if maybe it was just like a one-time fluke. If not, I don't know how the hell we're going to debug this. I really don't know how we're going to debug this. So I hope this works. We might need to run data gen. I don't know if that's changed between 1.21.8 and 1.21.9. I don't think it has, but not sure. Okay. Loom is now 1.14 snapshot. I think that's what I'm using though. Oh no, I'm on 11. But 11 is fine for 1.21.10. Okay, let's see if this works. Could it be not loading because of these errors? Like the missing model stuff? Surely not, right? I highly doubt that's stopping the game from loading. Unless they've changed it. But it's definitely not loading past this. You can see it's literally just not not moving. The only other possible thing I'm thinking that could be causing it, maybe, I mean, this is a real long shot. I don't think... No, there's nothing there. Like, it actually just isn't loading past this. And what we could try and do... Let's close that. Just see... No. Okay, what we can try and do is just look at the debug log. Doubt there'll be anything in there, but I should also probably delete all of these old ones. Holy shit. Wow. Okay, debug.log. I doubt there'll be anything in here of use, but worth having a look anyways. What is this? Okay, there was something there. What's that? That's realms. Okay, that's fine. Then that's just texture stuff. This is all texture and model stuff. That's it. Yeah, so there's one place in the code which I feel like possibly could be causing this. Like, and this is going to be a long shot. Trying to even remember where it is. Here? Yeah, so here I'm registering this resource reloader. Maybe just comment that out. That's the only possible thing, because that's kind of the only thing I've changed in terms of, like... I mean, I haven't really even changed that, to be honest. But obviously that's done completely differently now. So maybe I've done that wrong? Possibly? To see if this works. The other thing we could try otherwise is running it not in debug mode. It's possible debug mode is breaking things. Maybe. The other thing we could try is deleting this run configuration, because maybe it's outdated somehow. Oh, interesting. So we're actually getting a different error now. What was that? Try and find it. So no such method error. Spiked atlas, baked model. Interesting. So I assume, so that is in the fabric slurry API. Okay. So I wasn't sure if those APIs would need updating or not. But it looks like they do, and I guess that does make sense with all of the render shenanigans. So, what I will do... Fabric Slurry API, here we go. So, Spino actually did do an update to 1.21.8. But I don't think that's actually been published, interestingly enough. Okay. In that case, what we will try and do... Let's put this back in, because we know that's not the problem. Or at least highly unlikely to be the problem. So what we can do is we can go ahead and open those APIs. So we have 3 of them. We have the heat API, we have the slurry API, and we have the gas API. That's it. That's the 3rd one. So let's just go and find all 3 of those. I should already have them on my computer. I just need to open them in IntelliJ. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly find those. Okay, so that's the gas API. What is this? Okay, I've done some changes here. Interesting. Okay, interesting. Okay. I will go ahead and open that real quick. So there actually are some changes here that I haven't committed, and I'm wondering, like, that's quite interesting. So let's look at the gas API first, because I think they're all going to have the same problem basically. Open this project. Let's go new window. Okay, and then I'm also going to open the other two as well. So I'm going to go try and find the other two. We'll get them all open. Let's actually close Industria for a moment. Actually, we can't do that right now. We'll do that in a second then. Okay, my PC's starting to lag. Maybe this is a bad idea. Probably shouldn't be trying to open them all at once. Okay, new window. Okay, and then I'm going to open the final one. It really doesn't like me doing this though. I think probably because it's doing all the Gradle imports, so it's just taking a minute to do things. So the last one is the Slurry API. Okay, so I'm going to close Industria so that we have a little bit more. There you go. Okay, so let's do the Slurry API first, I think, and then we'll go from there. So there are some changes in here in the build.gradle, but those I think are just Java 21 updates. I don't think anything more to it than that. Ooh. Okay. Let's give it a second to index. Okay, so that is indexed. So we're on, let's go 14 snapshots for Loom. And then we're going to need to update some versions. So this needs to go to 10. This needs to go to 10 and 3. This needs to go to 18 and 3. That's 16. 18 and 3. And then this can go to 1.2.0. And then this can go to whatever I've set the Industria one to. I don't know what I've set it to, and I've just closed the project. So maybe let's keep Industria open for a minute, shall we? Just until we get this figured out. Okay, so let's go Gradle.properties and let's go that one. Okay, put that in there, and then we're also going to want the mod menu as well. This one. So then let's go Slurry API. Boom. Okay, so that should be fine. If we go ahead and reload that, make sure everything in here is all fine. It should be fine. No variant of 14.8. Where's 14.8? What? Fabric Loom 14.8. Did I? Why is it looking for 14.8? What? Why is it looking for 14.8? Okay, maybe 14 isn't possible. We'll go back to 11 then. See what this does. Okay, that seems to be working. So what we're going to have to figure out here is basically the change in here, I believe. I think it will be this. Might no, I don't think it'll be that. So yeah, it won't be that either. Maybe this, but I don't think it will be that. It could be this as well, actually. Yeah, possibly. I'm gonna go ahead and bring Industria over to my other monitor so I can kind of reference things. Okay, this is going to take a minute for it to do this. So whilst it's doing that, actually, I'm just going to quickly go ahead and do basically the same thing with the other ones. So I'm going to copy these ones to start with. So this is the slurry one. Let's go ahead and do heat as well. Now all of these are going to be exactly the same. So there you go. Let's also bump that to 4 gigs. I don't know why that's not on 4 gigs. This one also apparently doesn't have mod menu included, which is interesting. Might as well include that whilst we're here. Okay. And hello, can you go away, please? Thank you. So yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I don't know why that's not in here, but we can definitely include that whilst we're waiting for this to... Oh, it has actually finished. Interesting. That's using the Fabric API, but this is only using... Wait, are these two... Interesting. They're like different projects. I didn't realize I set them up as like different projects. That's interesting. Okay. Why did I do that? I don't know. So these are obviously test ones. Okay, whatever. Let's go and have a look at this anyways. Yeah, so here's the problem. So get sprite atlas doesn't exist. I don't know what that would have changed to though. Probably just that, isn't it? Get atlas manager to get sprite. Would that be correct? So that requires a sprite identifier, so it's probably that one then. And that gets a sprite atlas texture, and then I don't know what this kind of does. Let's move it like this so we can figure this out. Yeah, so obviously get sprite isn't correct. Could it be? I mean, I feel like it has to be get atlas texture, right? Let's also decompile the sources so we can view those. But previously we had an apply method here. And what we can obviously do is we can just have a look at the basically at what Fabric does for fluids. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So let's look at fluid render handler registry. I think that's the right one. Is that not the right one? Oh, it's going to be the implementation class. So it just does get atlas texture. What the hell? They've completely changed how that's done. Interesting. So this is the missing sprite this is for. Can I not just return this? Get sprite. Sprite dot. Do I need to do this or something? No. How do I get a? What does that get me? That gives me an identifier. So this does reload text. So okay, reload textures. So if we go to implementations, right? Problem is, this is once again code I haven't touched in a very long time. So I don't remember how this works either. So that's on reload, but this is different. This is an actual like missing texture like handler. I don't think vanilla like has or fabric has that anymore. Yeah. Enter default. Doesn't seem to be anything useful here. Okay. So this is just for the missing handler, which is what we use basically if it doesn't exist, because otherwise it throws an exception, which isn't ideal. This here can just be this, right? So this can be texture, and that's fine. The problem is this. So how do we get... So this returns a sprite, as you would expect, but it takes in a sprite identifier. So can we just do like a new sprite identifier and pass that in or something? So that requires the atlas and the texture. Interesting. I wonder if this is returned from anywhere. Not really, no. Sprite mapper? No. So, okay. In that case, we should be able to do this. Like, what is this? Yeah, I think that's what we want, right? Would I be correct in assuming this is what we want? If we do this... Oh, lag. Just give it a second. Vineflower's doing its thing. Okay, I think that should work. I believe. Yeah. That seems to be correct. So does that now build? Is the big question. No. So we have some issues in the main as well. So this needs to be player.getEntityWorld. Okay. Debug messages.forPlayer. That's fine. That's just deprecated, but that's fine. Let's try build again. Okay, so that's just a import, an old import. Let's try. Oh, I was trying to publish. Oops, don't want to try and publish. I want to just build again. Okay, that succeeded. So we should be able to run the client even. Let's check. Now I don't have a test mod on this one, so I won't actually be able to test it working. But okay, so that has correctly loaded, and you can see we can hopefully just load into a world here. We're not going to be able to see anything, but we just want to see that, like, okay, so that seems to be correct. And I think that's basically that one done. So now we just have to replicate those changes for the other ones. So let's go ahead and just publish this. Publish. And that will be published as 1.2.0. So just let it do that. And then we can obviously... We're not actually going to close this one, though. Because... we're going to be able to basically copy some of that. So that is correctly published. Let's now reload this. Okay. Okay, so it doesn't like something. So cannot resolve all files, cannot find mod menu 16.0.0. It might need a yeah, it needs a Maven repository, that's why. So where's that? Do we have that? No, actually. Interesting. Repositories. Boom, plunk that in. Okay, that should work for that. Just give it a second. And then once that has completed, I am actually noticing, oh, so the Heat API is a little bit different, right? The Heat API is different because the Heat API doesn't have any of that client stuff, because it's just heat, right? It's just temperature. Yeah, this should technically be called a temperature API rather than a Heat API, but that's, you know, a whole thing. Yeah, so I think all of these should be fine. The one that's going to be broken is the same one that was broken in the other one, which is this class here. So, no, not this one. Something's going to be broken. Let me do a build and see what happens. So I know it says it's erroring, but I don't think anything's wrong. Yeah, it is correct. So that's fine then. So does that run? If we try and run client, let's see what happens. Okay, so immediately install Fabric resource loader. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So it just needs some things that don't exist at runtime only, basically. So if I go back to build in here, we can do mod runtime only, and we can do not command API, but we need this. Then we need the same thing again, mod runtime only, and we need green API. And then we need the same thing again, but this one is going to be key binding. Okay. If we go ahead and do that, shouldn't need to download anything, I don't think, but What's good? How's the port going? The port is going kind of well. I'm just updating the heat API, slurry API, and gas APIs as those are causing problems. So hopefully this works for the heat API, and then we'll run the tests as well, which I think the tests do or did actually work, I think. Oh, hello. Can you go away? Thank you. Let's see what tests I even did in it. So I just registered that. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so obviously that's run. Let's just check that we can go into the game again. Should be able to. Don't see why not. Yes, that's fine. Okay, and then what we can do, we can run the tests. I don't think the tests really do anything, but we can do that anyways. Where is it? Where is it? Verification test. See what that does. Hopefully it's fine. Yeah, that seems to be fine. Okay, so the next thing we can do, let's just make sure we're on the right version in here, which we're not, so it's a good job I checked. That's now 1.2.0. Boom. And we can now go ahead and publish. And hopefully, give it a second. Okay, so that's worked as well. Nice. So the final one is the gas API. This is going to be exactly the same changes that were required for the slurry API. So I'm going to quickly go into here. I assume the build upgrade already has the things I want. Yeah, so it already has that. Already got that. That's fine. Yeah, okay, those are all fine. So we just need to update these versions in here. Hello, Super Z. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, okay. And then just these ones. Nice. So that's those all updated. Let's check that the build upgrade all has Loom 11. Yes, it does. Okay, nice. So let's go ahead and fix these issues. So that's going to be this one. Oh, this doesn't have that. It probably could do with having that. Interesting. So the issue that's going to occur with this one then is actually going to be in here. It's going to be the same one as before with the player. I can't see it, but it's going to be here. No? Player? One second, what was the thing we changed? I'm just trying to have a look through. Oh, I see, because we had a move with sound in here. Okay, yeah, we don't have that for this, which is a little bit of a discrepancy, but I think it's fine. Gases don't have textures, do they? No, so gases just have... Okay, that's fine, I think. Let's just run build, it'll compile, and it should be fine. Yeah, so gases are just a color. They don't have a texture. That's how I've implemented them. I may come back to that in the future and change that, but for now that suits my needs, so that's fine. Yeah, so that's fine. That's now working. Let's go ahead and once again run the client. So we'll do fabric, run client. Okay, and hopefully, yeah, that's all going to be fine. That's not going to cause any issues. Hello, Alex. Welcome to the stream. Okay, Minecraft is correctly loading. Let's just check once again. We can go into a world. I'm actually surprised I don't have a world. Going into a world isn't going to change anything, but it's just a nice easy check that we can do, just to make sure that nothing catastrophic has gone wrong. But that's fine, nothing's gone wrong there. Okay, lovely. Let's hopefully close the game once it's saved. Thank you. Okay, so in that case, we can go ahead and just make sure we're on direct version 1.2.0, and let's give it a publish. Okay. And let's see. That should publish fine, but you never know. Yes, it has. Fantastic. So let's close that then. I'll commit those to GitHub later. Not right now. So let's just go into our build.gradle, and let's just bump all of those, not in the build.gradle, in the gradle.properties, and just bump them all to 1.2.0 like that. And we're going to want to go in the fabric.mod.json and just make sure those are all the same in here. The other ones actually aren't even in here, which is funny, because they do need to be. So the other ones are gas API and slurry API as well. Okay, so those are all in there. That's fine. Just wait for this to do that. It's just downloading them all. Okay, and then once that's done that... also, why have I limited it to... Where's that again? In here. I've limited it to 3 gigs. I don't know why I set it to 3 gigs and not 4 gigs. That's kind of weird. Yeah, we want it 4 gigs, not 3 gigs. Okay, this is done. That's indexing, that's fine. Just reload, make sure. And it's not going to change anything, of course, but make sure it can use that. Oh, it doesn't like the fabric.mod.json. Failed to parse it. Really? Oh, where did you come from? Get out of here. Wait, what? Why is it doing that? Okay, can you not? Oh, no, don't do that. Goodness gracious. Okay, fantastic. So now, hopefully, we can run the game. Fingers crossed. Let's see. Okay. Okay, we're running. That's fine, as expected. I would expect nothing less. Let's see if it does actually work this time, though. Okay. Come on. And the same thing has happened again. Interesting. In that case, I am actually thinking this might be the issue. Let's comment that out and see what happens. Because last time we didn't get the error without that commented, so... let's see. If this is the issue, then I don't necessarily know how to fix it. So we have to hope this is not the issue. Okay. That was the issue. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Well, let's at least run the game. Or, like, run a world. Hopefully one that we know kind of will work. Which I don't actually really have one. I mean, we can try this one. Hopefully we don't corrupt this world. Okay, it doesn't like that. So, I think, luckily, though, this is just one of my classes hasn't correctly overridden the create method. Would that be correct? Yeah, that's all that is. So that's fine. All we need to do, override create, return that, override update, and then what does that need? So that needs the pieces. So state dot pieces dot clear, and then state dot pieces dot put all block entity dot get pieces. That should be it. Let's try that, and I think that should fix it. And then we'll have to come back to this afterwards. I don't know why this is causing us issues. Hello, Spino. Welcome. Welcome. It indeed has been a long time. Okay, let's see. And hopefully we can then update to 1.21.11, and that should be much more trivial. It should be much more trivial. But we'll see. Okay, so hopefully the game will still load. Yes, it does. And hopefully, fingers crossed. Okay, we're in the world. This is not the world I thought it was. Interesting. Yeah, this is not the world I thought I was loading into. Is it this one? Maybe it's this one, actually. Yeah, this is the one. Oh, okay. So the rotary kiln is broken. Let's try and figure out why. Let's update render state. Oh, so it's actually... Oh, wait, this is the centrifugal concentrator. I must have missaw what I thought. That's fine. That just means we need the update. Oh, we actually already have the update. I just forgot to put the create method in there. Okay, that's fine. We can run it again, and hopefully this time it works. Are you not updating tomorrow's map? I will be, yes. That is going to happen in this stream. But that will take like 10 seconds. Like, that's not... That's more than trivial. But we need this to friggin' work fast. Okay, come on. Okay, so we're going to go into the same world again. And then we'll probably have to try a different world afterwards. And see what happens there. So... Oh, what the hell? What is this? Oh my god, what have I done here? Wait, this is not the world I thought it was either. Okay. Right. And what is happening here? Okay. Well, as expected, we clearly have some issues. Right. So this... What is this that I'm even looking at right now? I thought this was the rotary kiln. Right? I'm pretty sure it is. This is the centrifugal concentrator. Which I don't know why that's not... Why it's doing this. I think that's interesting. I think we'll come back to that one. Let's try and figure out the rotary kiln first. Yeah, that is right here. So I really actually don't know. So let's have a look. I suspect I'm fundamentally using something wrong. Like maybe you're just not meant to do this. I think that's actually entirely possible. The fact that I'm not using this matrices entry could be the problem. It very much could be the problem. Yeah, so... So here we're trying to render a specific part, but you're not really, at least from my understanding, you're not meant to do that anymore. And instead I should be using submit model part. Only problem with that is that it requires the sprite, and I don't know how you get the sprite. Like, I have the texture location, but I don't know how you're meant to get the sprite. You can just set null. Okay, let's try that then. Sure. Okay, so what we will do in that case is let's stop the game, because that's not going to be helpful to us now. Instead of using submit custom, what we can do is make the make render segment take in the render layer and the queue, right? So here, instead of taking in the vertex consumer, if we take in the render layer and kind of more importantly the queue, maybe put the queue before the matrices, and then do the exact same thing here. So we'll do queue and render layer like that. Get rid of you, and then just basically go into render segment. That will then take in the ordered command queue, and then it will take in the render layer, and it will no longer take in the vertex consumer. And what that will allow me to do is, instead of calling this render method, I can then just do queue.submit model part like that. I can then pass in the part, I can pass in the matrices, I can pass in the render layer, I can pass in the light and the overlay, and we're going to try null for now as the sprite, but we'll see. That might not work. I don't know. exactly how that works. So we'll just do the exact same thing here. So this will become Q, matrices, and then that's the render layer. Okay. The render layer, we actually don't need to pass the render layer in, right? Technically. The sprite is in fact nullable. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that, like, we can just give it null. You know? Because that might have different consequences. Just because it's nullable doesn't mean that it's going to do what we want by passing null in. It just means that it's not going to throw an error when we pass null in. So we'll need to see, like, functionally what that actually does, giving it null. But you do raise a good point at looking at the enchantment table, so we will do that. Enchantment table. Or is it enchanting? It's enchanting, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So let's look in here then. Yeah, see, I think this just renders a model. I don't think they render a specific part, but we can have a look. Render, so we have the... Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, see, that just uses submit model, which is fine. That's not kind of really helpful to us. Control find this. We can try that. Okay, the conduit does use that. That passes a sprite in, which is this.materials. .get sprite. So what is this.materials? Context.sprite holder. Right, and what does it pass into that? Get sprite base texture, which is what? Sprite mapper. I feel like that has to be necessary then. Here it's passed in null, but what is this even for? This is for the arm? I don't know, we might be able to pass null in. I think we need to see what passing null in does, and then we'll go from there. And then afterwards we're going to have to figure this out. Don't know what we're going to do about this. Really don't. Maybe it's the fact that we're doing run async. Maybe that needs to be supply async. Possibly. Or just something similar. I don't know. We'll see what that does later. Okay. We're in. Okay, so let's go into the world. Okay, that seems to be working, doesn't it? Yeah, I think that's worked. Looks good. It looks good to me. That's fine. So we don't need to pass that in then. Okay, next is to look at this. It just looks to be like the light or something that's broken here. So I suspect we're possibly just passing the wrong light value in. I don't know how I would have messed that one up, but maybe if I accidentally swapped the light and the overlay parameters is what I'm thinking. So this is called what? The centrifugal concentrator block entity renderer? Concentrator block entity. Oh, it's literally the first one. Okay, let's have a look. So submit model. I'm passing in a null state. That's probably it. That's because so model.get layer light overlay. That also should be 0, not -1. The model, I don't know why that doesn't have the state in there. That needs to have the centrifugal concentrator render state. And that will probably fix it, I imagine. I'm not sure how that one happened, to be honest. I also don't know if these are going to work or not. We'll see. We'll see about those. Okay. So now we wait again. And we're just going to have to, like, test every single freaking block entity. Oh, man. Which is going to be a pain because I think some of them don't work. Yeah, possibly. We'll see. Because I think rewriting the multi-blocks, I broke one of the multi-blocks and it's scuffed it up since, but we'll see. So has this worked? Yeah, so that's worked now, that's fine. It doesn't have a texture, but is that correct? I'm not sure. I don't remember if it should have a texture. We can have a look, can't we? So if we go in here, so I'm passing in model.getLayer. Yeah, so that's the texture location, which is textures, block, centrifugal concentrator. So if we go into the assets, Industria, textures, block, do we have a centrifugal concentrator? No. I think we did, and I think I removed it, if I recall correctly. So that's fine then. Only problem is we can't test the fluid shenanigans. So I don't know why. Why is there like a plane over the top of it? Is that correct? I'm not sure that's correct. I don't think that should be there. What we can try, I suppose, is do that. Okay, it thinks I'm deleting the method. Bro, I'm not deleting the method. I still... Wait, why does it... Wait, I'm not deleting a method, though. What? Why does it think that's deleting a method? That's literally not deleting a method. What do you mean? Can I just build then, maybe? Might just be a problem with single hot swap. What? I'm not deleting a method. Bro, am I going crazy? I'm actually, like, not deleting a method. What do you mean? Right, and that just works, does it? What? But... Literally not deleting a method, man. Is it because it must be because I'm not calling this method, and so the compiler is trying to just delete the method, I guess, because it's not being used? Maybe? But like, that's so dumb. It shouldn't do that. That makes no sense. Like, how am I going to test if this is what's causing it? I guess I can maybe just comment like 3 of them. What? What? Wait, you can't hot swap lambda bodies anymore? That was definitely a thing you could do before. I don't know how that's even changed. Like, that doesn't make sense. Okay, whatever. I don't think this is an issue, but I'm not I'm not sure. Eventually this is going to be an OBJ model anyways, so it's fine. But yeah. And also, a lot of this is going to be rewritten when I eventually can kidnap Basti again and get him to fix some of these shenanigans. I guess that's the point. We should be able to test this, right? And just check that the rendering works. So, hello? Okay. This is a little bit buggy. Wait, this is insanely buggy. What? Where's the... Okay, apparently the hitbox... What? The hitbox is... What is happening? It is very comfy, Basti. It's actually just a dressing gown, though. But yeah, I was gonna kidnap you, that's all. Don't worry about it. Okay, so what do we put in here? I think it's alumina, if I remember correctly, which I probably don't. Apparently I do not. The other possible thing that's happening here is that the blocks are actually just like broken, maybe. I thought it was alumina. Oh, it might be I don't know, man. My chemistry knowledge has gone out the window. Wait, I can have a look at the aluminium processing line. This, no, not that one. Wait, where's this one? It is alumina, no? Unless this is the one for... No, is it? I don't think it is. Suspicious. I think I might have somehow broken this, actually. In that case. Also, I cannot hear game sound. Did you guys hear game sound there? Huh, now I can hear game sound. I'm not sure you guys can actually hear the game sound anyways, can you? Wait, one second, let me have a look. Okay. I didn't hear anything when the multi-block broke, but maybe I missed it or something. Okay, so rotary kiln is what I'm looking for. Wait, where's the... God, I genuinely, it's been so long, I don't even remember how this works. Do I just replace? Do I just place? I do, don't I? I just... Oh? Okay. Interesting. Things are clearly a little bit broken. Okay, let's do this. I don't need to add energy to it, do I? I mean, eventually it will need energy, of course, but I don't think I made it so that this version does need energy. Okay, this is probably not the most efficient way to do this. I probably could have just set block. Or actually, I think I could have just placed it there regardless of doing that. Okay. Okay, it is this stuff. I thought it was this stuff. Does it work, though? Yeah, but the model isn't spinning, which is interesting, which does suggest to me, unfortunately, that what I thought would work is not working. Let's go rotary kiln, block entity renderer. So I thought, or at least I hoped, that I could just do this. But this is suggesting to me that that is not possible. I'm wondering if that's because of the render data. Or renderer data, as Basti called it. I'm curious. If I do this... So what is the, if we go renderer data, where's that? There it is. So if we look at the oh no, that's the rotating segment, I see. Are you sure render segment is at all working? Yes, render segment is definitely working because we can literally see the multi-block. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to. So that part is definitely working. Okay, what am I looking at? I don't know. Oh yeah, I was looking at the barrel body. Is what I wanted to see, which is this. And then I wanted to look at the angle, which is msweep.a. msweep.a 145. Interesting. So if I step over, presumably the rotating segment dot roll will become 145. But I'm wondering if you trying to fix rendering because I'm changing that all anyways? Well, Basti, you're not going to be able to change all of that because it's now been completely rewritten. So yeah, that's why I'm trying to fix it. Yeah, I think I know what's happening here. I think what's happening is it is changing the role, but because... Yeah, so the problem is because of their new render system, right? It's added to a queue. And so I don't think it's actually rendered until later. I don't think, like, previously you would set the role, then you would render it, and it would actually render it, and then it would reset the role. I don't think it does that anymore. I think it now sets the role, puts it in a queue to be rendered later, and then resets the role, so by the time it renders it, the role is just reset to 0. I think. Now, I also this why are they not doing that anymore? Why Basti? Why are they not rolling anymore? Okay, things are clearly a little bit broken. I don't know if this is the case. I don't know if it does actually do that or not. That's the problem. I assume it must be. It must be. Because submit model part, this doesn't render it. This doesn't render it. It you know, it does what the method suggests. It submits it to be rendered later. Because that's the entire point of it being batched, right? If we go into here, yeah, it just adds it to the list of commands. Fuck. How do you solve that? How does the enchanting table do it? Because this is probably going to be the best thing for me to look at. So we're going to look in here. Okay, so because the enchanting table obviously renders the book, right? So block NC dot book gradation. Okay, whatever. So that does book rotation degrees like that. And then that's the model state. Wait, what? Submit model. and that passes its own, like a different state into the model. So the model has to have its own state. Oh god, this really complicates things if that's true. Is that true? What is the state? It's a record though. And then it uses set angles. Right. Okay. But if the state is just a record, that's not as bad. It's just kind of really makes things complicated for a lot of the models and stuff. Okay. Yeah. So the whole concept of doing this is no longer going to be a thing. That I don't know how you would. Yeah, so okay, so you create the state in the rendering process. And then you would pass that through to render segment, which would then pass it through to here. Although right, so you don't even render each part individually. Yeah. So you actually... Wait, no. Yeah. You can't render each part individually. Right? Is that right? You have to render the... You have to render the entire model. Wait, I need to look at the conduit block entity renderer. Because that did submit model parts, so I'm curious what that does. So... Yeah, so that does it by actually changing the matrix stack. Right. Interesting. State can be anything from a model. Some do float, some do unit. For most models, in your case, are just unit. Well, no, they're gonna have to, like, pretty much all of them are gonna have to they're gonna have to take in records. But I don't even think that's gonna work. Well, yeah, I guess basically what needs to change is instead of... Like, the entire logic is going to have to be split up. So right now, everything happens in the renderer. But what's going to happen is the calculations need to happen in the renderer. But then in the model, it has to actually apply the calculations rather than doing that in the renderer. And, like... Also, rendering the actual segments, rather than rendering each segment individually, I will have to pass into the model the specific number of segments that need to be rendered, rather than rendering each segment. And that way the render method of the model knows what it needs to use, I think. Because... yeah, so if I override like set angles, right, that currently that takes in a void, but it's going to have to not be a void, it's going to have to be some class of some kind. So ideally, I suppose a record, so public record, and this will have to be like I mean, what do I even call this? Rotary kiln model render state. And then this will have to take in the number of segments. So int segment count. And then it will have to take in the rotation angle. Like that. And then in set angles, or wait, is that correct? That is the only thing that changes, right? Yeah, so it's just this angle right here. So then this class now needs to use that there. And then in set angles, we'll have to... Do we need to call the super? Yes, we do need to call the super. Okay. So we'll call the super and then... Oh my god, this is so complicated. Right, so the first two segments... Right, so the first segment is always going to be rendered, right, no matter what. The second segment won't have that rotation, but it only is rendered if the kiln segments is not empty. So... what I will have to do is a for I loop. I is equal 1. I is less than state dot segment count. Then what I will have to do is I will have to say... no. I'm actually going to have to do less than 16. And then say if I is less than or equal to segment count, then it gets the segment, and it needs to say the segment dot hidden is equal false, and then the yaw will become the rotation angle, and then here get rotating segment dot hidden will be true. I should also definitely all 4. There you go. So that'll be the segment. Now yaw isn't correct, is it? No, so it needs to be the roll. Like that. Okay. So... yeah. That will do that. But what we need to say is... if I is 1... or no, if I is... yeah, if I is 1... wait. Wait. I'm just trying to think. So if I is 1, then we don't want it to roll. So we have to say in here, if I is equal 1, or if I is not equal 1, then we do that, which will do the roll. Here we don't care because that's resetting it to what it should be anyway, so I think that's fine. Render segment, that just goes, like, that just doesn't need to exist anymore. Yeah, I think that's it. So, like, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I don't necessarily know if we even need to reset the role. Probably not, because we're doing reset transform here anyways. So I think we don't need to reset that, but we do want it to be hidden. Here, I guess we don't need to do this, because by default, it's not going to be hidden, right? I think. And so, yeah. Yeah. What I could do, actually, no, there isn't really a way to simplify that, is there? I mean, unroll loop? What? What do you mean? What does that do? Ew, no. Why is that a thing? Why would you ever do that? Yeah, I think that will work. And then what we have to do is this can go. So this actually, if this is true, this kind of does simplify things, but in a different way. So, like, this doesn't need to happen. Right? Yeah. So that can just go pink. And then instead we do q.submit model. We pass in this .model, and then we give it a new render state, which takes in the state.kilnSegments.size and this value here. I'm going to put that in brackets just so that's like easier to read. Yeah, so that will be that. I'm going to like, there we go. No, I don't really need to have it in brackets, do I? Right, so that's that. And then I can do the next one. So matrices render layer light overlay, and then it's 0 and state.crumbling overlay. Okay. I think that will work. I am a little bit concerned that I'm doing a matrices.translate here and I'm not pushing or popping. Why am I not pushing or popping? Do I not need to push or pop? Or did I accidentally remove pushing and popping? 1 second, I should probably have a look. Let's go Industria, and I'm gonna have to try and find the rotary kiln block entity renderer. Let's have a look. So no, I actually didn't remove any pushes or pops. So I guess I don't need to. I think because vanilla does push before on render, or not before on render, because obviously that's my method, but before the render method, I think they push and pop before and after it anyways, I think. If I recall correctly. I'm not really sure this needs to exist anymore, to be honest. But I'm a little scared to remove it. I think it probably doesn't need to exist, but I'm going to leave it around for now, just to see if this works, first of all. If it works, we can mess around with removing that, or not. But only if that works. So let's see. Fingers crossed, guys. If this works, I'm starting to understand. I'm starting to piece things together. And I thought this was worse than it was, but this actually isn't too bad. If this is how it works. Obviously, it will be a bit of a rewriting, but in the future, it will be easier to do things. So, let's see. Okay, it has not liked something. Let's see what it doesn't like then. Okay, so it said something about, yeah, cannot find part, rotate seg 1. Get child, rotate seg 1. Yeah, it shouldn't be doing it for seg 1. Right, I see. I see. Huh. Right. Because that's... I see. So this is the rotating part of the segment, but the segment does have more than that. So like doing segment.hidden here doesn't work. I can't get the parent, can I? No. Okay. What I will have to do then is I'm going to have to make a model part get segment, which will get the specific segment, and then yeah, then I can just get rid of this. Right, so this part can just go. And then instead in here, I'll have to get segment. And then I can do in here, don't get child rotating seg I. Now, I assume rotate seg is not going to be the same number as the... It actually does seem to be. So seg1 just doesn't have 1. And then rotate seg starts at 2. Interesting way to do things, but that does simplify it for me here. And that also means that segment.hidden will hide the entire segment rather than just the rotating part. So I think that will work. Yeah, I think that should work. So let's try that. Let's see. Second time's the charm. Okay. And if this works, then what we can do is we can move on to the next one. I think it's probably best to just do these in order. So like going back to the centrifugal concentrator is probably the best way to do things, and then go down from there. Even though we are starting near the bottom with this one, this is obviously the first one that caused us issues, so easier to do it that way. Yes, that's working. There you go. Fantastic. So we're back to how it was previously, and the items are bumping around with Basti's lovely math. Nice. Okay, that's good. I'm just going to put a chest on the end. Also, what are these copper chests about, man? Are they just normal chests? They're just normal chests. Okay, whatever. I don't know why Vanilla even bothered with those. Okay, that all still works. I'm not surprised that still works. That's normal stuff. It'd be a bit weird if that didn't work. That's fine. Okay, lovely. So, let's go from the top and figure out what ones are going to need changing. So, I don't actually think the centrifugal concentrator needs changing. but I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm just a little concerned that, because obviously this has a missing texture. I'm just not sure if that's because I've broken something or not. Anyways, I don't think there should be an issue because this is just drawing the actual vertices manually, right? We're not editing any of the... Oh, we are. Never mind. We are. Yeah, that's not going to work then. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's why it's got this on it. That's why it's got this. Oh, okay. Yes, I'm remembering. So the plan was that this top bit here, this is meant to be glass. And so the reason I've hidden it in here is because it doesn't have a texture yet. And the reason we can still see it is because of the same issue we were just having. So what we need to do is we need to make that model data. Basically just do the exact same thing. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's come into here. Let's make a public record, which is going to be a centrifugal concentrator model render state. And what that's going to take in, I think it's just the rotation, right? Yeah, it's just basically this value here is all it needs to take in. So I'm just going to pass in a float bowl rotation, and that's it for that one. So we just need to make the class take that in here, and then we need to override the set angles method. So we'll do set angles. Nice. And then all we need to do, we need to say this needs to happen. So this dot cylinder top, and then we need to make this happen. So this will just be this dot bowl, and that will just become state dot bowl rotation, which I have spelled wrong. There you go, bowl rotation, and that's it. So that's fine. And then obviously we need to make sure we change that in here. So yeah, so this is the final rotation. So we don't need to do any of that anymore. We don't need to do that anymore. We don't care about the previous rotation anymore. We don't need to do that. All we need to do is submit model. We're going to pass a new state, pass that value in. Oh, we do need the previous bowl rotation. 1 second. Okay. Do we? I'm actually not sure that we do, but sure. We'll do that. There we go. That's done. Then we have matrices, we have the render layer, we have light overlay, outline color, crumbling state. Those are all fine. That's not a problem. Hello. Is there an easy way for me to say your name without pronouncing each letter? I don't know. I don't think there's an easy way to pronounce your name without saying every single letter. But welcome to the stream. Yeah. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. I'm going to be honest, because I will butcher it. If it's meant to be pronounceable, I will completely butcher it, so I'm not even going to try. That's my new motto for when people come with names that I am not going to be able to pronounce. I'm not going to try to pronounce them anymore, rather than go ahead and butcher it every single time. Are we done? I think so. We want to test it now, don't we? You know what, should we test it, or should we... No, I think let's not test it, which might be a mistake, but I don't want to have to like run the game every 2 seconds just to test if it works. So I'd rather do all of them and then see what happens. We can test them in order anyways, so it should be fine. So what do we need to do with this one? So this is the clarifier. Trying to remember what the clarifier is, or more specifically what it looks like. I think this is the one that looks like a big hopper that has fluid in the top. I think I'm not 100% sure. So I don't think this one needs changing at all. Yeah, so this one doesn't need changing at all. And so what I've actually done currently is I passed this in, but I can just make this one void. And then I can just go ahead and pass null for the state. And that should work fine for this one. There we go. Nice. Yeah, so all this does is renders the 2 fluids, renders the items. It doesn't modify the model. So that one we don't have to do anything. Luckily, that one's nice and simple. Crusher, unfortunately, we are going to have to do some things. Quite a few things, actually. So yeah, here we have some roll values. Now, I don't think we need the previous ones here because we are just setting it to state.progress divided by 100. And so yeah, so all we have to do with this one's actually going to be super simple. So this one even can just be a float, I believe, right? It can just be a float. And then all we have to do is take that in. So instead it will be state.progress is greater than 0, then that's or 0. So that will be the state, and then we pass those in, and then we pass those in. And that's it. So we don't need these previous values. None of those shenanigans. We just don't need those. I think also these need to go. I don't think those need to exist anymore. I'm just going to check. But I'm pretty sure the render method already handles that. Yes, it does. So that's called, I assume... yes, that's called in there. And so we don't need that anymore. And all the places that I have it just don't need to exist anymore. So this becomes super nice. That is a nice method. That's so much nicer. So much easier to deal with. In fact, we can even single line it. Nice. Lovely jubbly. Okay, fantastic. Let's just make sure I'm not doing that on any of the other ones, because I have gone ahead and refactored basically all of these to make sure they are all using the Industria renderer, which they were not previously. So just make sure that's all going to be fine. Also, now that I think about it, the clarifier can just do the same thing, right? No, not the clarifier, the centrifugal concentrator, because that just requires a single number, right? Which is just this. So we can just make that require a float in the model. So instead of all this shenanigans, we just go float. And then we go down to set angles. And we just take in a float. And then all that needs to be is that's going to be equal to state. Now, probably don't name it state though. So this will be the bowl rotation. I don't know if I like that though. The only issue I have with doing this is it just means if we want to change it in the future, we have to come in, we have to make this new record, we have to change the data type at the top of the class, we have to change what we're constructing in the actual renderer. I don't know if it's worth it. I think for now I'm going to leave it as this, but I think there's a very high chance I do end up just ditching that. Is this needed? Oh yeah, we didn't know if this was needed, did we? I think it doesn't need to exist because yeah, I can just get rid of that and then I can just do that in here, right? So basically plus equals bowl rotation. So that's not going to matter anyways because it's just going to reset, isn't it? Like the previous is just going to become 0. So I should probably just set it and leave it. I don't think there's any need to... Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay. Nice. So next one, Crusher. We need to actually do the model. Or did I already do that? Don't think I did I? No, I didn't. So what I need is a set angles. Get rid of the crusher parts as well. Those just like don't need to exist anymore. Neither does any of these or that or that. So that actually becomes super easy as well. Where's the texture location for this one? Oh, it's in here. That should not be in there. Let's do refactor, move members to the crusher model. Refactor. Boom. Okay. Am I doing that in this one as well? No. Am I doing that in this one? No. Okay. Just make sure that that's consistent. Yeah, so that's fine. And then all I have to do in here. Now, only problem is by removing that, I don't know what it needed previously, so I'm going to have to look on the GitHub. Okay, so I just set the role of all of them to be the progress divided by 100, which is what's passed in, right? Yeah, okay. So all I need to do, this will be the rotation, and this will just be this dot. Actually, I guess. Okay, let's do an undo real quick. Oh, we can't. Okay. Because I do actually want those bottom left, bottom right, etc. So model part main, model part bottom left. I hope that's right. I'm just kind of assuming that's right. bottom left, bottom right, top right, and just set those like that. Okay, boom, 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 and then come down here and just say not pitch, so we want to change the roll, not the pitch. Yeah, it probably should do that. I kind of agree. That makes sense that those two would be inverted. I didn't do that originally, but I think that probably does make more sense to do it that way, so that's fine. Okay, so yeah, that's the crusher done. So next one is the crystallizer. So let's go and have a look at this one. So whilst I'm here, just make sure I'm having some consistency. Okay, so crystallizer I don't think does anything like that. No, the crystallizer is once again nice and easy, and this one can just be void and just pass null through there, and I'm just gonna do that as well, so that's cleaner, and I'm gonna inline this. Nice. Okay, crystallizer done. Next is the digester. I think this is going to be, in fact, yeah, this is basically meaningless, because this one is also just going to be null. Once again, just going to inline this, and then I'm going to go to the model, and I'm going to make that void. That. Okay, nice. Next will be the drill. This one's going to be more complex because this one has a bunch of stuff, and also a bunch of conditional rendering as well. Although, never mind, actually, these are separate models. So, the problem with this one, actually, it is the drill head themselves. It's going to be an issue with the drill heads more than anything, but we'll have a look in a second. So yeah, this is what I thought it did. Fuck. You know what, the biggest pain in all of these is going to be the pump jack, the oil pump jack. I mean, I need to redo that model at some point anyways, but it's going to be hell to do that one. Okay. What we're gonna have to do with this one, guys, can we cheat? Can we cheat? I think we should just cheat, because this is gonna take forever, man. Because this one has 3 different models, right? So the models on this one, they're not actually separate parts, they are just separate models. So instead of, like, right now they're all taking in this render state, but they're all going to have a different state, and basically that's just going to take data from here. So right now it's using these 2 pitches, and it's just using this value basically. So this value will therefore need to be passed through to the record, and same with this one as well. And those just get passed into there. These 2 lines go. This is going to be exactly the same. So here, this value will be passed through. That's it. Just that value. And then here, this value will be passed through. And this value will be passed through. But that's it. And then for the cable will be fine. Yeah, the cable will be unchanged, because this just renders the actual vertices themselves. So that's fine. And then the drill head, Currently that passes through the state, but I could probably change that to take in and what does it need? I think it just needs the... Oh no, it needs a few things actually, so I would probably just keep the state passed into that one. But I'm gonna cheat rather than do all of these manually, because I wanted to do other things this stream. I wanted to hopefully migrate to mode maps and also update to 1.21.11. So there's no chance we're going to get all of that done today. The stream title is literally update to 1.21.11, and that's not going to happen at the current rate of progress. So all we need to tell it to do, to be honest, is... Okay, this is actually kind of complicated, because here's where we have to explain effectively how this works. How does it work? Okay, it is useful to provide some context if you're gonna cheat like I am. So this project is a Minecraft fabric mod for 1.20. There's no point saying the version, because it's not going to know the version, so it's just a waste of time. Yeah, this project is a Minecraft fabric mod. I want you to go through all of the block entity renderers located in, and we'll tell it where they are, because otherwise it's going to struggle to find them. So they're in source, client, Java, dev, Turdy, Industria, renderer, block, and modify them so that the so that they do not directly modify the model parts within the renderer, and instead pass through data to the model with the state. It'll probably know what I mean. It's kind of hard to explain what I mean, but I think it will know what I mean. And instead pass through data to the model with the state. Currently, it just passes through the block entities state. I have already done this for, and then I'm going to reference the specific file. As a matter of fact, if I'm going to reference the file, then I don't need to say where they're located. So that'll save me some tokens. Get rid of that. Okay. So I've already done this for, what AI is that? This is ChatGPT Codex. It's pretty good, but I am paying for it, so it's not quite as good if you're not paying for it. Or in reality, it's actually shit if you're not paying for it. So I've already done this for the what's the best examples? We want to do kind of a good example that shows exactly what I want. Or maybe I should state all of the ones it's done for, which is going to be, I've already done this for centrifugal concentrator, block entity renderer, I've also done it for the clarifier, block entity renderer. I've done it for the crusher, block entity renderer. The digester, block entity renderer, and the rotary kiln, block entity renderer. Can you do it for the rest? Okay. Let's see. Let's have a look. This is like 50-50 chance it manages to succeed here. What I'm going to do real quick, actually, before it does this, is I'm quickly going to try and just commit some things, just in case. Partial 1.21.10 update. Commit quickly before it starts doing things, because I haven't put the approvals on read only. It's gonna take a while to commit. Okay, I'm pushing as well. Okay, all my changes are pushed, so just in case it fucks things up, we don't have to, you know, worry about that. It shouldn't do, but just in case it, you know, if I described something wrong or it misunderstood, we don't want to, you know, completely fluff out on that. Okay, so okay, it seems to be getting the gist. So it knows that it needs to override set angles. It knows, yeah, okay. It should be able to do this. I think this is actually one of the easiest tasks you can actually give it, because it is literally kind of just like turning things into records. Like, it's just deleting code and then adding records. That's it. And overriding one method, right? That's all it has to do. So I am wondering though, is it going to actually read all of the renderer classes and all of the model classes before? It looks like it is, doesn't it? Oh god, this is going to eat up the context window. Yeah, you could not do this if you're not paying for it, because this is going to use so much context. Holy moly. Okay. Let's have a look at how much it's using. So it's currently used 56.5k. That's not too bad. You have a limit of 272k every 5 hours. And I think you're limited to like 1 million a week, I think. That might be slightly more than that, actually. Might be like 2 million. But okay, that's fine. I guess in terms of like AI, the context window it's using here is pretty small. Yeah. Because it's obviously not reading the entire code base. That would be a lot more. I actually wanted to see the other day how much Industria was. And if we look at this, it says we have 47,984 lines of Java, which I thought was interesting. 39,000 of which are actually code. So the other ones are just 1,000 lines of comments. Interesting. Or are you saying that I don't write comments? I clearly do. Not that I recall writing any of them, but okay. Good to know. 525 Java files. Obviously tons of JSON files, but that's to be expected. That's just like, you know. But apparently, the estimated cost to develop Industria is $1.7 million. 18 months of time, and 9 people, or 9.2 people required. Just kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. Oh, it's doing stuff. It's going fast as well. And as I say, these are pretty small changes it has to do. So it should go pretty fast. It's not having to like think about all of this stuff. It kind of knows what it has to do. We should be able to see, yeah, it's going in a weird order, I will say. Some of these might not require any changes. So like the fluid tank, for example, it probably knows that this doesn't require any changes, right? Because there's no model being rendered here. Same with like this as well. This is exactly the same, so there's no model being rendered here. Electrolyzer does have a model, but it probably can see that I'm not actually doing anything in that model. I assume it's leaving the drill. Oh, it's doing the drill now. I thought it would lead that to the last, but okay. Interesting. It's probably done, right? Oh no, now it's changing the renderer. Okay. See, look how much simpler that is. It's got rid of all of that and replaced it with that. Which, if it's done this correctly, which I assume it has, then, you know, that's great. Okay, the only issue I see with what it's done is it is just shoving all of that into the actual like block entity render state, which will work. Yeah, I mean, that will work. It's just not really the best way to do it. My god, look at this. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say it wouldn't be able to just like get rid of those. Like it can't just get rid of those. It's having to do a lot with the pump jack. I did say the pump jack is going to be the big thing. Yeah, that's probably a ton of work. I assume it's done though. Let's see. Okay, so it's updating. It'll probably say it's done now. If we now go ahead and reload. Okay, so yeah, electrolyzer. That's fine. So drill, yeah, mixer, yeah. I think it has done them all. We're gonna go through some of these. So we're gonna have to remove all of this. Any places where we have that, because that's not gonna work. I want to tell it to have for the models to have their own state rather than use the block entity state. Can you make sure the models have their own state, ideally with a record in the model class, rather than sharing the state with the block entity renderer. Also, that is not. I don't know why I put an apostrophe there. Not the right place for an apostrophe. Ah well. Okay. This should be a pretty small change as well, hopefully. It's just going to have to go through each of those state classes and make sure it removes them. So that's the wind turbine. Okay, we're going to need to remove some of the records and stuff that's still in there. Because obviously it doesn't know to remove those, which is fair enough. I wouldn't want it to remove them without me being sure, so that's fine. But yeah, like the mixer as well, like those just aren't going to be necessary in that class anymore, which is fine. Okay, yeah, I mean a lot of these it could just be floats, but I did tell it to use records, so I'm not really like mad at it for that. I think it probably is better to just use records anyways, even if it is just a single float, because I don't want to have to come back and change that in the future. That's just be a pain, so... Hello, Wide. Things are going well. Codex is just going through and doing the boring task of refactoring all of these. I probably could have just used Codex to update to 1.21.10, to be honest. I think it probably could have done it, but I'm glad I'm actually kind of glad I did it myself, because it means that I actually understand how everything works. Otherwise, I would not understand this friggin' submit model. Like, I would have no idea what that's for. Okay, now that it's done that, what's it doing with this one, actually? Okay, now that it's done that, I'm going to go through some of the ones that, like, don't need any change. Won't need any changes or anything. So this doesn't have a model, so that's fine. That was fine. Okay, let's go into the drill, because this I think is the first major one. Yeah, and I just want to clean some of it up, to be honest. So like here, for example, we're gonna do some new line stuff. Just put things on their own lines. I'm gonna put the render layer onto that single line as well. This renders the frame. It looks a bit silly in this block like this, but that's fine as well. Okay, that just needs to be the same. I probably shouldn't have done that actually, because I imagine Codex is probably getting upset with me if it sees that I've changed things. Yeah, that can just be inlined. It's fine. Okay. Oh, it is now trying to do stuff in... Oh no, that's in the drill head model. Okay, that's fine. That's fine, because that's not... I've got to ask if you had a nice day. You don't need to ask every single time, why do you know? But I have... I don't know. I will say I have not had an amazing day. I was in bed till like 1. I think I got out of bed at 1. I don't know. I messaged someone when I got out of bed. Who did I message when I got out of bed? Let me have a look. Oh, actually, I got up a little bit earlier than that. I got up at 11. Never mind. I thought I got up way later than that. No, that can't be right. Did I really get up at 11? Maybe. Maybe I did get up at 11. Oh god, it's changing things. Oh no. It's changing things I didn't want it to change. It might be fine, but it also might not. Okay, we'll see. Also, this is one hell of a mess. What? Okay. What is this? That's fine. Not ideal, but it's fine. Yeah, okay. I think that's cleaned up to the level I wanted it to be. Let's just make sure we don't have any silly, like, part things. So, like, these, for example, can just go. I don't need those gifters anymore. Look in here. So this has the part shenanigans. I assume that's just used. Yeah, that's used in here, though, so that's fine. We can just get rid of that, though. Okay, it's done. So we don't have to worry about it fucking things up now. In here... Main is actually still being used. Never mind, it's not being used. It's just lying to me. Okay, that's fine. Okay, next one is this one. So we're once again just going to go through some of these. Only pass down the necessary data. Here, it's made a state when it really doesn't need one. So this can just be null. I'm going to inline that. I'm going to put that down there. And I'm going to take this out. Put that in there. Nice. Let's go in the model. We could just make this void. Well, I actually kind of see why it did that, because this one isn't complete, but it's fine. We'll you know, come back to that in the future, rather than worrying about that now. Okay, yeah, this is fine, I believe. I just need to make sure. Yeah, that's fine. This one is fine as well. This one is going to need a little bit of touch up. So here, once again, where we're just doing this, let's clean that up. Let's inline this as well. Is there anything else down here? I don't think there is. No. Okay. So then all I need to do, go into the model and just make sure anything like that is gone. Just doesn't need to be there anymore. This is still there, but that's fine. That should just be like that, though. Likewise here. I thought I already did this change earlier, but I guess not, or something? I don't know. I'm sure I did that, but okay, whatever. Yeah, so that one's all fine. Next one. We just need to get rid of these here. So that doesn't need to exist anymore. And thus that does not need to exist anymore. And thus this can be dramatically simplified like that. And we can get rid of that. And we can just put that in there. And then all we need to do is go into the model and just get rid of any shenanigans like that. That's fine. All done. Okay, next. Multi-block designer. I don't think that even has a model, so that's fine. This one doesn't have a model, so that's fine. This one does, so this one's going to be a big boy. So first of all, this does not need to be in there. That can just go. And thus we can get rid of the matrices.pop down there. That can go like that. Okay. We can get rid of that. Put that in there. Alex forgetting that messages on YouTube not be deleted because they show up in chat. Congratulations, Alex. Now everyone knows you're horny. Lovely. We didn't need to know, but thank you for informing us. Moving on. Let's go ahead and yeah, this one's done, so we can go into the model. We can just get rid of it's a massive class. This is not needed anymore, right? Oh, it is. It is. It is. Okay. It is. Yeah. Okay. That one's a little bit different. But yeah, that's fine. You can look in the on-screen chat guide. All is visible, and it will be in the VOD as well, which some people actually watch. Apparently, I didn't know people actually watch the VODs, but they do. What am I looking for? I'm looking for this. I just wanted to see that this has the methods gone. Yeah, that's fine because we already did that one. Okay. Okay, this can be simplified as well. Nice, nice. Put that in there. Okay, that's done, and then that's fine. Yeah, that's all fine as well. Okay, we just need to make sure the model here as well. We can get rid of anything that doesn't need to be here anymore. Apparently everything does need to be here though. No, it doesn't. Never mind, that can go. Okay, all good. We're making progress. We're almost there. So this one, these just needs to go. That needs to go. That needs to go. And that needs to go. Okay. This apparently doesn't need state. Which is technically true as of right now. So I will just pass null in, but eventually I'm going to come back and work on this one. So that doesn't need to be there. But yeah, that's fine. The model just needs to be fixed, so that needs to be void. And that needs to go bye-bye. Nice. And final one is the wind turbine. We just need to once again get rid of this. Boom, boom. Get rid of that. Move that down. Move that down. Move that down. Get rid of this. Boom. I think that is it. Go into the model, make sure, yeah, like that doesn't need to exist anymore. But that's it. Nice. So let's run the game. Let's also close this because we don't need that anymore. I don't think we're going to have time to update to 1.21.11, unfortunately, chat. We're going to try, though. We are going to try. Okay. Minecraft. Thank you. Do you have REI integrated? Currently, no. But I'm probably going to do that as like one of the very last things, because it's just like not worth doing right now. Like, it's so much extra work for every block that I'd rather just leave that kind of till the end. Yep, that one's worked. Okay. What's an easy one to test, chat? What's an easy one of the block entities to test? Let's test the crusher. That's really easy to test. Okay. Okay, so we need power. So we need a wind turbine, which is like double testing, right? Okay, that is not working. Yeah, I haven't done anything because I haven't changed the crusher wide. I haven't got around to changing it yet. This is from Turkey Chemistry, you know. This literally is the same model I had from Turkey Chemistry. It's also one of the only textured... in fact, it might be the only textured model, I think. Unless I'm forgetting one. Oh, the fluid tank as well is textured, kind of. But that's a little bit different. Yeah, I think it is actually the only textured one. It looks similar to... Bro, every friggin' mod has similar fluid tanks. They all look the same. A fluid tank is a fluid tank. There's not much you can do with it. Yeah, okay. This is... So, that's working, but this is not spinning. Or, no, I did not yank it. It's nothing like Mech's one. Mech's is very different. Mech's is, like, very, very different. I don't know why this isn't working. Should we have a look? So... We're going to see... That takes in the propeller rotation, which is state.propeller rotation plus, so that can just be plus equals, by the way. State.propeller rotation, so then that goes into here. And then set angles needs to do propellers.roll. That should be working. State of propeller rotation. Okay, so that's 0.098. That's obviously not working correctly. Okay, what about output percentage? 0.392. And it's timesing that by 0.25. Yeah, so that's obviously not working. So that does get energy per tick. So that does state.energy output. Energy output is 196. Okay. 196, and then it divides that by 500. $196 divided by 500. Oh, and then it puts that between 0 and 1. Right. And then times that by 0.25? So 0.392. So it cuts that into a quarter, which is 0.098. Yeah, that's correct. So why is that not working? Oh, I guess because it's not changing, is it? Right. So that does get propeller rotation, but we never set the propeller rotation, do we? I think that's the problem. And we kind of can't set the propeller rotation. How do we do this? Because we can't store previous data. I mean, I guess we could kind of do it in a way where we're saying like, plus, if we do Minecraft client.getInstance.world.time times tick delta, or state.tick progress. Maybe? Not quite. Because I need to divide that by 360. Is that right? Maybe not. Right, because it's adding that. I think we need to multiply. And then get rid of that. Is that not working? Times state.tick progress. State.tick progress will be a number between 0 and 1, right? So we actually want to do plus state.tick progress. Is that right? Yes, that is right. Okay, that's why. Okay, so that works. And hopefully if we place another one here, that one goes faster. That one's different. Okay, good. Nice, nice, nice. And let's just check that that updates if I do this, which it should. I think it's every 3 seconds. Yep, and then I do that. Nice. Okay, good. That's good. So that works. Nice. I assume we're going to have the same problem with the crusher. So I probably want to just like copy this and go into the crusher. Okay. Oh no, because that just uses the actual progress to calculate it. I'm not sure that's necessarily what we want, but so shouldn't that probably be over the max progress rather than over 100? Probably should, but okay, let's try the crusher then. So I think one of the things I can put in the crusher was just stone, if I recall correctly. Uh-oh. I think it crashed. Yeah, it's crashed. What's it saying? Probably because it's doing 0 divided by 100, isn't it? Oh. Empty stacks are not allowed. Interesting. Oh. Interesting. Okay, so in that case, we need to do a stack is empty, return. Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm also going to go, because I think I do need to divide by the max progress instead of dividing by 100. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm also going to add a public int max progress. And then basically this will divide by state.max progress. So I just need to do that. And then times that by our magical value. And I think that will work. Maybe. Let's see. We can try removing that afterwards if that doesn't work. Okay, we're not going to have time to test all of these today, unfortunately. So that does mean, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to update to 1.21.11 today either, which is a little bit of a shame. But yeah, that just means I have to do that before... I have to get that done before Saturday, because I will be streaming on Saturday and Sunday as well, as kind of usual, as long as nothing goes wrong or something, you know, like it did this weekend. Yeah, we'll see, but hopefully should be streaming then. Okay, let's see, what is it doing? Interesting. It's processed one of them and then not done anything else. I assume that's just because it bugged out or something. Okay, I think this needs to go as well. This isn't right. Okay, first of all, why is it going so fast? What is it doing? Okay, well, let's see what state.progress is, and then max progress is 5. Oh, is that why I divided by 100? Let's think about it. So what would that be if I'm dividing by 100? I think that's probably is why I did that. But really, I should just change the recipe time, because that's way too fast. Okay, that hasn't really made anything any better, has it? I think it's because it's not additive, whereas previously it was. Previously, the way it worked was that it was additive. But now it's obviously not, so... I can times that by, like, if I do math dot... If I do that, I think... What does that give us? That gives us a double, so if we just cast that to a float... It doesn't like that because... Okay, sure. If I do that... A little bit better? Kind of? I don't think that will help, but if we do that, that will just do like half rotations, right? that correct? I think so. Let's have a look. Yeah, so that like kind of does like half rotations. Whereas if I do that, that does a full rotation, but it actually kind of looks weirder. I think that's though because of the speed. If I do keep my timesing, like hit this. Now that looks really bad. That looks really bad. I think this is fine. I think the recipe is just too fast, right? That's kind of the problem. I don't know if I can also do cobble to gravel. I did add that. Damn, I wasn't sure I did. That's nice to know. Yeah. The recipe's just too fast, so that's something I can fix. I assume, trying to remember, I think if I go Industria recipe data, Industria recipe provider, that's it. And then in here we can go, yeah, so here it's just set to 10. But if I set these all to 100, 100, 100. I don't know why I ever set them to 10. I can't lie, that's way too fast. Okay, so if I now go ahead and just run data gen, just give it a second, should be able to test it at a more reasonable processing speed. Okay, come on. Okay, so if I go ahead and build projects, and then do F3 and T. Oh no, I have to do / reload, right? There you go. Does that look better? Not really. No, not really. It doesn't, does it? I think math.py actually looks better, weirdly enough. Yeah, but that's too slow. It looks better, but it's too slow. Maybe it's fine. I don't know. I mean, this doesn't really matter that much, does it? Because this is the kind of thing that this is going to change at some point, because this is going to be a multi-block in the future. So it's obviously not going to exist in this form. So I probably shouldn't worry about it too much. You should make the emoji Twimoji. I don't know how you do that. I don't know if that's possible. Let me have a Google. Actually does seem to be a thing. 1 second, I might be able to do this real quick. Let's see. So I go. I don't exactly even know how you do it. Widgets, chat overlay. Okay, and then. Oh no! Wait. Emotes on screen. Is this it? Oh no, never mind. That's a different thing. You can actually do a lot more with bot tricks than I thought, or than I have. Like we can do way more than what I have. We can do like raffles. We can do TTS. We can do viewer counts. You can do. You can have emojis sent on screen. So like when you send an emoji in the chat, it comes up on screen. You can have emote combos. When the same emoji is sent multiple times, it comes up on screen. You can have donation goals. You can have a wheel of fortune. You can display the current song that's playing, which, you know, kind of silly because we don't have that. But apparently you can change. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't know. I don't know. Actually, one second. Let me try something real quick. I'm curious. Wonder what that does. Someone send a message. Chat. Someone send a message. Let's see if has that just yoinked? Oh no. Oh wow. Okay, that looks shit. That looks so bad. What the hell? Okay, undo. How do I undo? Default. If you made the background transparent, maybe? I don't know. I don't think it looks good. Okay. Chat properties URL. Okay. I don't know how you do it. Navigate to the navigate to widgets, chat. I don't know. It says you can do it, but I don't think you can. I think it's lying. I kind of want to try something actually. One second. I want to try this. Okay. Yeah, I want to try this. I'm gonna create a new thing. One second. We're gonna create a new thing like that, and then do that, and then do that. Wait, I need to okay, one second. Now I'm going to send an emoji in chat and I'm going to see what happens. Did it work? I don't think it worked. This is very disappointing. It didn't work. I've been lied to. It says the emoji should come up on stream, but it did not. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna end the stream here. because we are done for today. Yeah, I'm gonna get this pushed to GitHub as well, and then I'm gonna have to go through and test all of the other ones and just make sure those all still work, which they should in theory, but yeah, it's just going to require a little bit of testing. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I will see you all next Saturday. Goodbye.